Well, boys, I come down just for a fancy bit of pike fishing. I'm on the Carp Lake, Sandhurst. And there's like 10 cars here. It's really busy, really busy. So it's down to basically me throwing a lure wherever I can find a gap. I'm going to give it a go. The first one I'm going to be using is this. This one was a peculiar sort of banana-shaped plug that was given to me by Dusto. It's very, very bright. The last time I fished here, I have to say that I noticed sort of more natural colours, if there's such a thing. Did work for me, but I'm looking for one fish. That's all I'm after, trying to catch something. And it's cold. It really is cold. It's going to be -5 up to -5 tonight. So I'm just fascinated by all the carp anglers that have come up from. I came through yesterday and there was like 2 guys fishing, and they're giving a really iffy forecast, and there's loads come out. So maybe it's a carp water. The fish is when it's really cold. Anyway, I've got to warm up and get some lures in the water. So I've come right around the other side. At least I'm in the sunshine, because that side is just like wall-to-wall carp fishermen. So I've got sort of about 3 swims here I can fish. Then I'll have a walk around the outside. So what I'm going to do is have a throw around here with this thing Mike's given me to use. It's called a pig shad. He used it over in Finland to great effect, this lure. And it's got, I mean, pig-shaped nose, hence the name. There you can see. It's all soft rubber. It's got a paddle tail there, like a shad tail, but it's got these spikes which you just push. Rather than put the treble hook into the bait, you push these spikes in there. So it'll be very interesting to see, because this is a big lure, so they're definitely going to see it. Whether it's going to spook all the pike and send them over the other side of the lake, I don't know. But I'm going to give it a go. Around the edge here, it's sort of that big that I can see it getting a hit, chewed, and maybe miss a fish. But let's get it in the water and throw it around a bit. Well, while I've been tackling it up, I've actually seen one fish, not a pike, just a roach or something, move on the surface. So we're going to send the old pig shed out and see if we can get a strike out or something. Well, nothing on that one. I'm going to try this one now. I think this is a fish action. It's too good to cast out. Look. It's absolutely a pike, a miniature pike. It's all jointed there. A couple of big hooks, rubber tails at the back. Let's throw that out and see if anything wants to come and visit. Oh, I've got a small one on, guys, on different lure. I was just talking to the bailiff, and I've got an Abu Hilo on, which you can adjust the vane on the top, and I've just literally had him hooked up and he's just fallen off there. Fish about 4.5 pounds. Hopeful anyway. Well, nothing so far, but I'm going to go through the lure box, only another 62 lures to go. Going to try one of these. It's called a spinnerbait, which I have caught on before. I wouldn't have thought in this clear water it's going to work, but it's got a big single hook. I can only give it a try. I don't like to flog an area too much with lures because they just don't take them. If bait, you'll be okay. But with lures, you know, I think generally you get the first strike and almost the first run through that particular area you've cast. Once they see lure after lure, I feel they wise up. We'll try anyway. Oh, I've lost 3 by the way. Well, I'm thinking, ironically, I've lost 3 on lures, not big fish, I'm going to say 5-pounders. That really should be on bait now, should be on a dead bait on the bottom just waiting. So I'm sitting down, have a flask of tea, beautiful now, blue sky, freezing, big time tonight, cold. Oh yeah, do you guys ever use these still? Can you still get them? I must have had this 40 years. It's a hand warmer which I keep in the glove, inside or in your pocket. Just show people in case you don't know what they are. They last for ages. You can see that it's like a charcoal stick thing there. You light one end there. That actually, that's glowing hot. It goes in that box, closes up, and that stay warm for several hours. You can either put it in your pocket or you can put it like I do when I'm not fishing, obviously, when I'm not casting and retrieving. Warm my hands up inside the glove like that, and then you get these fuel sticks. These are really old ones, you've got to keep them dry though. Just called solid fuel rods there. I guess they still sell them, I don't know. But they're dead handy in the winter, especially beach fishing. That's what they come out like. And they last forever, and you can get your hands black as well, which is nice. So, I'd better get fishing again. I've gone through quite a few lures now. And before when I fished here, they actually wanted what's called a slider. I haven't got any. I've lost them. Mike's big ones, I've lost 2 on that big pike lure. But it's just the way it is. So now I've gone to a wood barramundi lure, which is a deep diver. I'm going to hold the rod up higher and just try and tweak and flash it around because I quite like the colour of it. But it's well, it's really for barramundi is what it's for. It's a woodwatch collector's piece, about 30 years old. And it can be good, but I'll be casting it very carefully. Right. First cast, people. Thank the Lord, a good old barramundi lure, first cast. Well, it's handy, you've got him unhooked in the water. He's just hanging by one portion of the treble, so that's great. At least I got a fish first cast. Got a lot more faith in that lure now. And obviously, where I stopped and had lunch, gave me a little break. Fish, same as the others, I lost about £5. Another fish on, guys. Same sort of size, I would say. Still fresh. I'm not just going to lift him because the hook is just on the edge of this gill there, as we perfectly cover. Now I got him. You see that one? I don't know, it's probably, he's getting towards £6 and he's getting towards 6-ish. Great fish, that's 2. Lost 3, so hook 5 got 2. And that's that same barramundi lure again. There we go. Look at that against the sun. Beautiful. Just let him recover there. He'll probably go straight away in this cold water. Not been easy, but I'm happy with 2 pike. Still an outside chance to get another, so I'm going to stick with that lure now. I've been through all the others, and that might be the colour and size they want. So pleased I changed to that barramundi lure. There we go. Let's get him on the mat. You see the lure there. And there we go. Another one bites the dust. Decent looker. Let's get him back. They all seem to be pretty much about the same size. Haven't hit a big one yet. But listen, still got an hour or so to go. There he goes. Well, I think I'll give that swim a rest, and what I've done is come down to this one. I did actually have a fish on bait here on the corner over there, so I'm going to flick this lure and twitch it back just across the front of there, and hopefully I don't lose it. I might be able to get sort of catapult cast if I move across. I might be able to do one of these up and out. And that line, that's a floating lure, so it's just resting on the surface and it won't dive until I start tweaking it back. I'm going to come quite close to those overhangs, but without catching them. There should be a pike any time from there in, I would say. I'm going to step back a bit. You might be able to actually see the lure just down here. See, it floats until you twitch it down and it starts running. And also around the front of this one could be a fish. Come on this side a bit. I don't want to be too fast with it. I want to twitch it so it looks injured, but also want to give them time to look at it. Very, very pikey looking spot this. Even down there. But if I can even get the lure in there. Probably better with a spinnerbait there, I should say. This lure, this one here, you don't have to move very much to get an action out of it. As I say, it's a barramundi lure, so it's got very good side wobbling action to it. Watch my overhangs. That was a lucky one, considering. Let's see what's out there. Retrieving actually a little bit slower and doing a very slow pause in between, just to, very often you get the take on that pause. Only lasts a half a second or something like that. Kind of surprised there's not a pike laying in there. And I've not seen any follow it in. All the takes I've had have been, you know, out of sight. Well, I think I'm going to go and try the next swim along and probably finish off where I started just there. In case I've had a rest, there might be another pike there. But I'd like to pick one. I've never caught one in that other swim up there, I must admit. But we'll give it a go. Ah, it looks all right here. Guy fishing over on the island. The other bailiff I saw around there, Steve, he said give it a go here as well. So we can but try. First cast looks down this side of that tree without going up it. Come on, pike, let's have one more. I love it when it comes up solid. No, nothing yet. I kind of thought I'd get a hit down in this corner. That's living dangerously with that irreplaceable lure. And you can see that lure going there. Well, I've come back to the original swim. Just going to have a few casts here and I'll probably go right round the bay there, but I feel this has been rested, so it might pick us a fish up. I may be wrong. It's worth 2 or 3 casts. Well folks, it's getting colder right round the other side. I've even thrown the old Mike's giant pig shad around just to see if anything would strike at it. Nothing. In fairness, I've never had a pike down that end of the lake. I don't know why, but I did give it a, you know, 30 casts, 40 casts. It wore my arm out after that. But look at this setting here. I mean, I can't grumble, can I? I've hooked 6, got 3. It's just going down, that setting, and I'm going to have 1 or 2 casts in different swims here, maybe around the bay here, you know, that swim way over the other side of the bush. But it's going to get really, really cold tonight, and now all the clouds, they've all gone, totally blue sky. It's going to -5. I'm going straight home, hot cup of tea, hot water bottle, and I won't come out till about April. I hate the cold, I absolutely hate it. Right, let's have a few more casts here. I got rid of the pig shad. I've gone back to my favoured barramundi lure there. Just see if I can get one more pike off it. And if there's nobody, I don't know, there's guys everywhere now. There was a swim in the corner, I think that one's gone as well though. So it's just down to a few casts around here, a few casts there, and I think I'm done. What a setting. Try and get it. I don't want to lose this lure. On. Long cast, not a big fish. And off. That saved me unhooking him anyway. Again, on the old barramundi lure there. That is such a killer. So I did okay pike fishing in the end. It was hard work, it was indeed hard work, but I got to thinking about things, you know. There's a sort of fashion for much bigger lures. Let me just get a couple up here. A lot of people, you know, like all the various different lures, and don't get me wrong, they are probably a wider range and probably maybe better made than they were when I was a youngster. And there certainly is a much more lifelike range, no question there is a more lifelike range. Like this pike, I mean look, it actually looks like a pike, doesn't it? Mike's had some fish on these different colours. The big rubber ones, like this, like the old pig shad I was using, some of these are really lumpy to cast. What you need is a stiff rod. Mike's been to Finland fishing with the experts over there, catches some nice big pike, and he said, it's not so much the bend of the rod for the sport, it's the stiffness of the rod to set the hook at distance. Apparently, they all fish with braid, so there's no stretch in it, but they set in the hooks. Now, look at the size of the hooks, people. They are big hooks. So to get that set on a fish, from the point to what tiny little bit of barb there is there, because you can crush the barbs, if you want to crush the barbs and barbless, but to get a good hold in there, you've got what? Well over a quarter of an inch there. So if, like me, I'm on mono over braid, then you've got a bit of stretch in the mono. And with a softer rod, you're going to strike like this, and that pike shaking his head, he's biting on it, but he's just holding it. Out it comes. And that's what happens. Now, with the big expensive lures, it did come about that people thought, I can't be using like £10 line again, I'm losing lures. They go into something like £50 braid straight through, some use £70 braid straight through, because if you get in a snag you can very often either open those hooks up a bit, get your lure back, put another treble on, or if there's a branch in the water you can haul it in like that. And to be honest, on using that, that's £30 mono on there. Yes, it cuts down my distance as opposed to braid, but the reason I got mono is that because this is one of my beach type reels that I use for spinning beach fishing. Underneath there, I don't know, 30 yards under there is braid. But when I'm fishing on rough ground, say down Somerset, I lose gear at the end of the day because the braid sort of sinks in between the boulders, snags, and you can't get it out. So I topped off with £30 mono, and it almost overnight solved the problem. And I can't be bothered, to be honest, to peel a £30 line off, go back to the braid, and then when I go beach fishing 2 days later, put it all back on again. So that's why I do it, for, you know, basically getting everything back on the beach and when you go fishing around sort of snaggy areas. Let's face it, nobody likes losing expensive lures, do you? I don't mind losing these too much. You know why? That's right. They're mics. I like, myself personally, as you saw, I went through, for me, quite a lot of lures before I got those pike, to be honest. And it was just one. And it was that one. Okay? As I said, it's a barramundi lure, you can see it there. I like more of a sombre colour in clear water. Now, I had 2 hits on this one. You didn't see it, but I hooked 2 pike up, lost both of them, as you do sometimes with big lures. I had absolutely nothing on a previous session when I used the same lure in the bright colours. So I tend to think more sombre colours in clear water, and obviously if there's a bit of colour in the water, maybe a brighter colour there. Now, on the subject of casting, getting a lure snagged up, walking backwards and trying to pull out of it, please be careful. I've done that twice. One was in a weir, up at Pangbourne Weir boat fishing, spinning, hooked up in the bottom, had what's called a Y lead, it's a sort of semicircular lead, about, I don't know, 15 inches up from my spinner. Something snapped down under the water, the Y lead came out. I can't tell you, it nearly shattered my kneecap. Worse, I was pollock fishing once in the west coast of Ireland, Inishboffin Island, where we get a chance of a porbeagle shark from the shore, on the north shore there. Pulling away, up on a rock, snagged up, red gills, pew, it came back and it split my eyebrow open here, the lead. Now, it doesn't bear thinking about the velocity it came out, I have no eye at all. So, when you do pull for bait, I tend to like turn my back and just walk and feel it come like this, try and keep the rod a little bit lower. It's just a suggestion, just a safety factor. What I do want to show you is when you're pulling, make sure you have a good swivel, because I'll show you why. So, while pulling for a break, let's move that around there. While pulling for a break on heavy line, like, you know, I've got 30, 35 pound mono, or you think, oh, it's what I used to call a sort of cross-lock type of swivel. Fine, except that happened. That's totally ripped apart. Here, look, it should be that shape there, and yet it's just ripped that open. I can't even get it open now, but I assure you when it was like that, it just opened up. So you can try and pick different swivels, you know, might have different shapes, but make sure that you get a decent size one. Maybe for the size of lure, for this size lure, this actual swivel is okay. But as soon as I used a bigger lure and went up the trees, because obviously a bigger lure casts farther, when I pulled it did actually do that, which is sort of right peculiar, isn't that one? And of course, yes, I lost the lure, which fell off the branch, plopped in the water, and I lost it. It just sunk. If you're just using regular small lures like these, as I've got here, you get yourself, I don't know, this is about 35 pound cable wire. I've got, say, 15 inches there, barrel swivel at one end, a nice cross lock or snap, closed snap one in the other. But I try and make some up with heavier snaps as well. So I've got, say, a packet of 5 or 6 traces for lures ready made up, because you are going to lose lures and you're going to get snagged sooner or later. With heavier swivels, and one with what I call regulars, just regulars. So the small spinners, small lures, small jerk baits, that sort of stuff. You can get away with a smaller snap link, but it's very easy, just snap one off and then snap a big lure on. That gives you more casting away. Whoopsie, you're up the bush on the other side of the riverbank, if you know, or lake, and then you pull, and that swivel's not going to take the strain of pulling out like this. So, you know, make sure if you do change lures to heavier lures, you actually use a better swivel, better standard swivel. I can't sort of give you a look through my lure box. You can see what it's like there. This is tidy, but it's got these little snaps like this, so you can lift up and take lures out. They still tangle, don't get me wrong, they still tangle up, and you can sort out what you want, where you want. And obviously, the dreaded green barramundi, it has been absolutely, that's my top pike lure. In little fast, you know, jerks. And then I suppose the more popular ones would be these. I don't want to lift them right out, but this also slides up as well. Would be these, what we call alphabet plugs, like that shape, which is normally pretty good shallow water fishing. And they cast well as well, and they actually have a rattle in them. So listen, the world is your oyster with pike lures, and this is just a sort of a handy box. I wonder if they make one that you can put the individual lure in, so that when you're juggling them around, they don't actually, you know, get all tangled up. You can't help that. Make sure you've got nice long forceps, curved ends are handy. I've got 2 pairs of scissors in there as well, and should I want to crush or break a treble or cut wire or whatever, take yourself a pair of pliers, long nose pliers as well. So that's pretty much it, people. So that's pretty much it. I was pleased to get a few fish. If you guys go out there lure fishing, good luck with it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Don't forget, bait fishing is generally slower. I like bait fishing almost better, and I do like it better really, when I know where the pike are, the swims are going to be, where they should be holding up. But if it's a new water, you know, somewhere like I was fishing there, and you don't really know where the holding areas are, a lure might be the way to go, because you're mobile, you're covering a lot more ground. And if you have a spot where you think, oh, I've had 3 or 4 pike down that end of the lake and nothing over there, well, why not go back to the good end on another session and hit it with some dead baits? You might do even better. Guys, we'll see you in the next episode. Won't be long coming, hopefully. Hit that subscribe button, TA Fishing, TA Outdoors, notification bells, and maybe, if it so takes you, the like button, which is, they tell me, totally painless. We'll see you next time.